Hey everyone, and welcome. In the high-stakes, super safety-critical world of the UK railway industry, making sure your team is competent isn't just a nice-to-have, it is an absolute must. Today, we're going to unwrap the pretty complex topic of competence management and take a look at a digital solution that's designed to master it. So, let's jump right in.
We've got a really clear track ahead for this explainer. First, we'll dig into the core challenge itself. Then, we'll introduce the SmartFleet solution, break down its key features, walk through a pretty practical procedure, and finally, we'll look at the ultimate impact this all has on safety and excellence.
So, first things first, let's set the stage. What is the fundamental problem that pretty much every rail operator and maintenance depot is facing when it comes to their workforce? I mean, really think about this for a second. You've got spreadsheets, maybe some paper files stuffed in a cabinet, all these disconnected systems. How can you be 100% certain, right this very minute, that the person working on a critical brake system has a certification that's actually up to date? That's the central question, isn't it? And the risk of getting that wrong is just absolutely massive.
This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We are not just talking about being efficient or, having good records. This is about a foundational pillar of safety and regulatory compliance. It's just, it's non-negotiable.
So what are we actually talking about when we say competence management? Well, it's this whole systematic process. It's about making sure every single person is qualified for their specific role. And this is the really important part. You have to be able to prove it to the big regulatory bodies, the Rail Safety and Standards Board and the Health and Safety Executive.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, right? It's a big one. So how does technology step in to fix this, to answer this really complex challenge? Well, the answer is a system called SmartFleet from ExcelWraps. And this thing is a comprehensive digital platform that's been tailor-made specifically for the unique demands of the UK's rolling stock sector. It's all about moving operations away from those risky old-school manual processes and into a streamlined digital world.
All right, so what does this thing actually do for managers, for compliance officers, for the whole operation? For me, it all comes down to three huge things: visibility, control, and of course, compliance. First up, visibility. Instead of having records scattered all over the place, the system gives you a single source of truth, all in the cloud. And the real game changer here is that managers get this live, up-to-the-minute dashboard of their team's readiness. It means no more digging through filing cabinets for a paper certificate that might be expired anyway.
Next up is control and customization. And honestly, this is where it gets really cool. This is not some rigid, one-size-fits-all solution. You can actually build a bespoke framework that fits your specific roles, manage every type of training, and even map skills across the whole team to find your experts and, this is so crucial, spot any potential skill gaps before they turn into a real problem.
And finally, let's talk compliance. For anyone out there who's ever had to prep for an audit, this is huge. The system is built to line up with Railway Group standards, it sends you automatic alerts before credentials expire, and it plugs right into your other business systems. What this does is it flips the script. It turns compliance from this last-minute stressful scramble into a proactive, totally manageable process. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, but what does it look like in the real world? How does it actually work in practice? Let's walk through the procedure for managing user roles, and you'll see just how straightforward it is.
It's actually a really logical 5-step process. You see, in SmartFleet, different functions are handled by these modules they call wraps. So you start by creating a user record, then you assign their official railway company roles, their system management roles, and any custom roles that are specific to your company. And the best part, every single change is tracked, which gives you a perfect, unbroken audit trail. And check this out. This is a perfect example of how flexible the system is. Roles aren't just some single, simple label. You can define a role by a very specific technical skill, like C-elect for electrical or C-weld for welding. Or you could define it by their team. Are they an operator or part of the engineering team? Or you can do it by hierarchy, all the way from staff to supervisor to manager.
But it gets even more detailed than that. You can assign competence to specific, critical rolling stock systems. This makes sure that only a person certified on, say, the traction and power equipment is ever assigned to work on it. What that means at the end of the day is getting the right person with the right skills on the right job, every single time.
All right, so we've seen the features, we've seen the process, but what's the bottom line? What's the real-world impact of putting a system like this in place for your whole operation?
When you boil it all down, it delivers on 3 huge promises. You enhance safety by making sure only competent people are on the job. You dramatically reduce your risk of non-compliance and any audit failures. And you create a much more efficient workforce by managing their skills in a really strategic way.
And it's really important to remember, this isn't just a one-off tool. Competence management is just one piece of the puzzle. It's actually part of a huge ecosystem of more than 30 integrated solutions, all designed to do one thing: bring the entire rail operation into the digital age.
I mean, when you put the 2 ways of working side by side like this, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? The old way is all about manual work, scattered data, and that constant nagging stress about audits. The SmartFleet way is about automation, centralized control, and being proactively ready for an audit at any time. It's a fundamental shift in how you manage your most valuable asset, your people.
And that really brings us to the final, critical question you need to ask yourself. As the railway industry keeps evolving, the question isn't just, does my current system work? It's, is our compliance strategy actually built for the future of rail? Thank you for watching.